to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Another wisdom book. Ecclesiastes. Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. Right after Proverbs. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. And we're going to read, as the old preacher says, we're going to read in your hearing the first 10 verses. And I'm actually not making fun of that. I believe in old school preaching. I believe in it. I thank God that I'm 51 years old, but I'm still an old school preacher. I thank God I ain't caught on with these new preachers and threw on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and some shades and turn the lights out and try to be cool. I thank God I'm still an old school preacher. And I thank God I still got some old school power. Do you have Ecclesiastes chapter 7? We're going to start at verse 1 and we're going to read together. The Bible says, a good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Say not thou, what is the cause that the former days are better than these? For thou dost not inquire wisely concerning this. Want to concentrate on verse 8. The Bible says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Better is the end of a thing. Judah, I thought about you. I even told your father as I sat there Friday night watching you, everything's going to work out. Let me just tell you before I even give my subject matter, you have the right spirit. Everybody doesn't have your spirit. You have a spirit that reminds me much of Adrian's. I've never told your dad this. I've never said it to anybody. But you have a different spirit. You have an excellent spirit. I'm not throwing off on your brothers. I'm not throwing off on anybody else in here. But you, and this is how good God is. Sometimes, and this message is for everybody, but sometimes God will let you know through the preacher, this message is for me. I thought about you Thursday night, and I said something to your dad. I said, it's going to work out for him. And then I gave him a script, and I said, let me hush because I'm getting in my message. This message is for you. This message is for you. And it's the name of this message is I'm moving forward, part 3. Stay the course. I'm moving forward. Part 3. If you don't have part 2 and part 1, buy it or go to YouTube. I'm moving forward. Part 3. Stay the course. You can be seated. Stay the course. Stay the course. This is why I came out praising the Lord like I did. Because I see some things, some writing on the wall, as I told the married couples class, that I don't like. As a preacher, I'm always trying to move forward. I don't have the 300 Roger Street mentality. I don't have the Holly Springs. I don't have the Hotel 6 Fuquay Arena mentality. I don't have the living room mentality where we started at the church. Now we're at a different time in our lives, and we got to keep moving forward. I don't believe in moving backwards. I only believe in looking back if I'm telling somebody what God brought me out of, or if I need to look back and thank somebody for what they did for me. But I don't believe in concentrating on looking back. I'm always moving forward. You might say, well, Pastor, at our other church, this crowd here filled it up. Well, that was the other church. And I'm not thinking about the other church. You should not be thinking about yesterday. You should be moving forward. And in order to move forward, you got to learn how to stay the course. it has been told that there was a ship out sailing for its destination, and it got off course by half a degree, and it was never corrected. By the time they ended up, they were thousands of miles away from their destination. We let too many things distract us. You hear what I'm telling you? We let too many things distract us. Check this out. From your jobs to your careers to even your children. I told Liz and Terrence, don't let the Lord bless you with a new job and new children, and then that blessing overtakes the blesser, and we don't see you at church no more. This is what's happening to us as a people. We're getting a little bit of money, and that ain't even real, because you haven't even got no real wealth. We get a little bit of money, and it takes us off focus from God. And we're getting off focus. This is why some of you spin wheels. And you say, by now, I should be further along. Let me tell you something. One thing that I have that most people don't have, and I'm not talking about no money or nothing like that, I have what is called tenacity. I told a young man the other day, I said, call me. I said, any idea you got, anything you need, I can help you, because I know what I put in people. I know I am full of tenacity. I will always win. I will never stay stagnant. I can testify, and my family will testify, since I've been a boy, I've always been moving forward. And this is not to stop here. I'm not going to stop, not until they lay me out. And then I'm not going to stop, because when my corpse is laid out, my spirit's going to be with the Lord. People tell you, you're working too hard, you're doing this. I found out if you don't do a lot of stuff yourself, it won't get done. You don't let lazy folk talk you out of working. You don't depend on them to get nothing done, because it'll never get done. You do it yourself. Continue to move forward. Learn how to stay the course. Stay the course. No matter whether it's tough times or hard times, stay the course. This message is to encourage even some of the older folk who feel like my time has passed. Young folk who don't even realize you got so much future. I was talking about a brother in married couples class this morning. I said, you've got to be crazy in here to be a football player and not talk to Brother McPhail, who played in the NFL, who ran a 4.1940. You've got to be crazy not to talk to him and Elder Darden about business when they own businesses. Everything you need is right here in the house. You got to be crazy to sit there and say, well, he's doing it this way, I'm going to figure out my way. No, I would talk to somebody, and he'll come out here and tell you, as many successes as he's had triple the amount of failures. But we got this thing in our mind like that we know, and we don't know how to ask somebody. And you keep spinning wheels, and before you know it, time is gone. And time is gone. And time is gone. I told Javon as he watched his brother play Thursday, he said, it feels funny out here, Pastor. I said, why? You sitting in the bleachers watching the game where you were at last year. I said, you'll be 30 before you know it. He said, I don't believe that, Pastor. He wasn't being disrespectful. He said, I don't believe that. He'll be 30 before he know it. Time waits for no one. He didn't even, it was hard for him to sit there. He said, it just feels funny. Sitting there knowing he was on that football field last year. Look, you set all kind of records running the ball at Holly Springs. How many years ago was that? 3 years ago. We getting ready to go into 2020, so I'm asking this next. You can say 4, 5. Time waits for nobody. And many times we shuck and jive, or we spin our wheels and we stay in the same place. But there's hope for you. I said all that to tell you, wherever you're at right now, there's hope for you. Ever how old you are right now, there's hope for you. Don't care if you're financially struggling and you're broke and you're renting, you still want to buy a house, there's hope for you. You're sick in your body, you've carried this weight for 30 years, you want to lose weight, there's hope for you. Everybody in your family had diabetes, and we were sitting there talking to Jamie, and they were saying, did your mama and your daddy have heart problems? Did everybody have heart problems? I said, I don't agree with that. Because we've allowed the doctor to tell us that because my daddy had a bad heart, I'm going to have one. That ain't true. That ain't got to be true. No, I don't buy that mess. That I got to go by your rules whenever I serve a God who is able. He's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ask or think. You asking him just to bring you out, and he's sitting there shaking his head like they don't even understand. Not only am I going to bring them out, I'm going to bring them out and in too. He's able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all that we can ask or fathom in our minds. So be encouraged this morning that while it seems that our time has gone, that there is hope. Job 14:7 says, for there is hope of a tree. Now check this out. If it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease. This is a grown tree that has been cut down to the root. I'm from the country. I don't know about y'all, but I've seen all kind of crepe myrtles and things that we cut down and thought we got rid of. Next thing you know, it's sprouting out the ground. There's hope because the next verse says, when it catches a scent of water. When it catches the scent of water. And that's what I am to you this morning. That's what this word is to you this morning. A scent of water to let you know that it ain't over. A little bit of vapor just to let you know, boy, I feel my help coming already. Just to let you know that it's not over for you. It's not over. There's hope. But you got to have a plan, and you got to trust the Lord with your plan. Because I found out what stops us from hoping and what stops us from believing is trials. Trials from the devil are designed to kill you. If you knew what I've been through to get in this church, and right now I got tears of joy, and I'm trying not to cry because I fought to get in this church. You have no idea. And then you thought because we were in the last year, you had no idea who had their thumb on our head and how they were trying to take advantage of us. But we got free the other day. But it's a process. It's a process. It's a process. And if you don't go through the process, Adrian, if you don't go through the process of that fire will either incinerate you or it'll burn off. And I'm not talking to myself from that standpoint. He talks and he does motivational things, and he talks about the flame and heat and staying close to the fire, and that fire will burn off the impurities and make a beautiful jewel, but it can also incinerate according to how you see the fire. What I've been through can make me bitter. I can hate everybody. What I've been through. I can hate everybody with what I've been through, but God has taken me through for you. God has taken me through some things that I know if he didn't design me and build me for this, I would die. But I've allowed it to make me better and not bitter. Did you get bitter along the way? Yes, I did. I'm not going to lie to you and act like I'm some great hope. Yes, I did. And I asked God last night, even in the bed, I said, Lord, touch me. And I started praising the Lord in tongues. And I said, Lord, touch me, strengthen me, build me up for the fight. Don't take my joy, but let me love you, God. Because at the end of the day, I didn't get saved to be a pastor. I didn't get saved to be a preacher. I got saved to go to heaven. And I ain't going to lose focus on that, even at the expense of this church. You cannot allow trials and tribulations that go on in your lives to stop you from hoping. The Bible says in 1 Peter, and I want to go to it real quick, 1 Peter 4:12. 1 Peter 4:12, the Bible says in verse 12, beloved, or beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial that is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. You got to quit thinking that you're the only one to go through trials. You got to quit feeling like I'm the only one that has cancer. I'm the only one whose husband left me. I'm the only one who doesn't have money in the bank. I'm the only one who can't get approved for a house. You're not the only one. What you're becoming is self-righteous. What you're becoming is a sad case saying, why me? Why not you? Huh? Why not me? When I was going through what we were going through as a whole and going through as a pastor to build this church, the Lord said, you're not the only one who's been through this. There have been people that have gone through this and lost. You ain't lost nothing. God had to shake me and get me out of my little pity party. God ain't got time for no pity party. But he's looking for people who will trust him. He's looking for people, you hear me, that will trust him. That will trust him to bring you out. God has done it too many times for me. If I look back over my life, and I don't even have time to give testimony. If I look back over my life, from being sick on my way out of here to barber shops and all the things I've been through, getting burned up, and you can't tell it. The devil tried to kill me before I was 10. Got burned up. Yeah, I did. Got shot at. But God's been good to me. Yes, sir. I've been through. And people can't tell me. I no disrespect to the older folk, but can't nobody say because I'm 51 I ain't been through. We got our first bathroom when mom and daddy separated because up until 9 years of age, we had to walk to the outhouse. And if you had to use the bathroom in the house, we had what was called a slop jar. And then the youngest one had to go take it out and pour out the stuff. And you learn very quickly how to pour out stuff so it wouldn't splat back in your face. Don't tell me, I'm from Sampson County, a very rural area. Had a daddy that beat my mama down and did her wrong. I've been through some things. I ain't had no daddy raising me, taking me fishing, showing me how to hunt, showing me how to save money. But you think I'm going to be broke just because he didn't show me how to save money? Oh, no. And I'm already getting into my text, but that's what we're going to see in the text, is the tough times that you go through are designed to make you. They're not designed to kill you. You got to shake yourself and say, I'm not going to wake up every day with a sad face. I'm not going to wake up with tears of a clown, but I'm going to wake up and say, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Trials are designed to make you better or to kill you. What are you going to do with your trial? What do you see, the glass half full or half empty? Because it's all in what you see. Do you see it as half empty or half full? It's all in what you see. I told your dad, I said, he's not going to want to move him back down to varsity. I said, they got him on varsity for a reason. They're not going to want to move him back down. He told me the next day, Pastor, they don't want to move him back down. I said, let him just stay where he's at. I said, I wish he could be on JV running and then they move him up. Let him stay where he's at. Let him keep his spirit right. Because see, when you got a godly spirit, when you got a godly spirit, I'm telling you now, when you got a godly spirit, you go through some things. As much as this message is for you, I got to tell you something that's going to break your heart. Because it's not fair for me to tell you, you got a godly spirit and God's going to bring you out. You're going to go through some things. You're going to suffer some things. Seems like when you do right and you ain't crazy, that's when you go through some things. But you always remember, your mama and your daddy told you, always remember this first Sunday of September, your pastor told you, you're going to go through some things, but you're going to come out on top. My word is what God told me. You're going to go through some things. Smile when you go through them. Think it not strange concerning the fiery trials that are to try you, as though some strange thing happened to you. And if that ain't good enough, I hear James in chapter 1. I hear James telling us how we're supposed to handle trials when they come. I hear James. I hear him. Do you hear him? Y'all want me to find him? I'm trying to find him, but I hear him. Right now I hear him, and I'm getting ready to find him. James says in James chapter 1, he says in verse 2, my brethren, count it all joy. Count it all joy. Count it all joy when ye fall into divers temptation. He didn't say just one temptation. And this is not a sexual temptation. This is trials. Count it all joy when there's trouble in your way. Old folks said, trouble in my way. I got to cry sometime. Trouble in my way. Gotta cry sometime. I've cried through my troubles, but that's what I did. I cried through them. I fussed through my troubles, but that's what I did. I fussed through them. But I prayed and trusted God through my troubles, and he brought me out of this and he brought me out of that. This is why I can say many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord will deliver us from them all. Anybody going through some trials now? Anybody got some tests up before you? Anybody dealing with some you don't know what's going on? Feels like from the back, the front, the left, and the right, I'm getting hit on every hand. God says, I know how to deliver you. The Bible says, and God knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation. If you'll just figure out that you're in a good place, you're in a good place. You don't want things to be hunky-dory all the time. Trust me, you'll get bored with everything being perfect all the time. We're made to deal with trouble. Now, I enjoy my little 3 hours a day or 3 hours a month of peace. And when that little bit of time comes, I just have a ball. And many times I have to cut the phone off if I want to have that peace. But the Lord brings me out of this, and he brought me out of that. And he's going to carry me through the next one. And he's going to bring me out of that one. And I'm going to see something hit me from this side that I didn't expect to hit me. But he's going to bring me out of that. He says, lo, I'm with you. Always. Even until, now I'm preaching to myself. Now, y'all have to excuse me. Just listen while I preach to myself. Lo, I'm with you always. Even until the end of the world. He promised not to leave me. He promised not to forsake me. He promised me that if I serve him, I'll bring you out. He promised me that I'll take care of you. He promised me if you just talk and tell the folk about me, I won't allow you to have egg on your face. He promised me that he would heal my body. He promised me that he would bless me. He promised me that he would bring me out. And every time I turn around, I might have a trouble over here, but every time I turn around, I find a blessing from the Lord. Trouble in my way. Gotta cry sometime. In this book of Ecclesiastes, a book written by Solomon as well as another unknown author, we see the writer here, we see the preacher here writing this book, talking about wisdom. This chapter deals with a contrast of walking and seeing the bad as good. This chapter deals with looking at the bad but seeing the good in it and flipping everything around. Have you ever been through so much trouble that you don't cry no more? Have you ever been through so much pain that you laugh? And you say, what's next? I mean, you sitting there, your head swole, your eye you can't see, your foot hurt, your dog died, your wife acting crazy, you're hungry, and you got fired, laid off, and you sitting there saying, and they say, what in the world wrong with you? Say, listen, I don't know. I have been through so much that the only thing I can say is there's got to be God somewhere in this. This is what the writer is saying. He's saying you got to learn how to look at life. Because let me tell you something, and y'all don't like me when I talk about him, but let me tell you something Creflo ain't telling you. Let me tell you something T.D. Jakes ain't telling you. Let me tell you something Joel Osteen ain't telling you. Every day ain't howdy howdy. Every day ain't filled with a smile. Every day you don't just feel good. Every day you don't feel like just getting up and busting through the doors and say, I'm here and life is great and I'm smiling and man, just everything is good. No, life is to be lived. Life is to be lived. People that you pray for will die. Family that you love will die. Jobs that you work for will lay you off. Money that you have will leave you. Your bodies will get sick. Your cars will get old. Your house will need fixing up. It's called life. And I don't know who promised the Christians these lies that when you get saved, you're not going to have to live life. You're going to have to live life as long as you live. You're going to have to live life as long as you live. Your children are not going to be perfect. You're going to have to work on your children. Your job is not going to be perfect. You're going to have to work for promotion. You sitting on your job now saying, I pay my tithe and my offering, and they won't promote me. Well, go get some more learning. Go to the classes for promotion. This life has to be lived. You can't cut hair in the state of North Carolina without a barber's license. You can't teach in North Carolina without a teacher's license. You can't do this and you can't do that. If you know these are the steps, go through the steps. Stop trying to spook your way through everything and say, God is going to miraculously bless me to become a lawyer even though I didn't go to law school. Go through the process. Tell somebody there's a process. There's a process to go through. Let me tell you part of my process. I'm standing here as a pastor now, been saved 27 years. Sat at the foot of the preachingest man alive for 15 years. Sat at the feet of a doctor of theology right after him for 15 years. Cut hair and led people to the Lord in the barbershop for 25 years. I didn't do all of that for nothing, but it took me time to get here. You can't come here if you ain't been through. You can't go there if you ain't been through. There's a process, and these millennials seem to think that they can just skip the process. There's a process of ups and downs. There's a process of life kicking your butt and rubbing your back. There's a process that you will go through if you live, because I don't believe nobody in here name is Rockefeller. I don't believe nobody in here was born a billionaire. I don't believe nobody's name in here is Van Buren or Vanderbilt. So there is a process. I can't look at the fact that Jewel Rich and Asa McLam were not millionaires and didn't leave me millions. But I can set things up for my sons and make them millionaires. It's a process. I can't sit there and say, well, it's going to fall out of the sky. I got to do meetings and meet people and surround myself with folk that can give me the knowledge to go through this process. Life is to be lived. You will fail in life. Young folk that want to start a business, you're not going to have success the first go round. And if you have success, it's going to be short-lived. Because God knows if he makes you successful the very first time, you're going to get arrogant. If he put a whole lot of money in your hand the first time, you're going to turn your back on him. You're going to have to learn how to fail over and over and over again. Before I became the best barber in Cumberland County, I tore my brother Jamie's hair up. I had to learn on some of the best grade of hair. Jamie got those big curly locks, and I had one pair of clippers. The clipper did not have the thumb action on it, but it was just one pair of clippers and about 4 or 5 guards, and I put that clipper on my brother's head, and I gave him a bowl cut. And my family looked at me and said, what have you done to Jamie? And I said, it looks pretty good to me, but it was a tore-up haircut. But I said, something is in my hand. I believe that I can cut hair. So I went to an old man, because see, if you start the process, it's amazing how things come back to you, and this ain't a part of the message, but if you start the process, the Lord will meet you on the way. I know the Bible don't say if you take one step, he'll take 2, but the principle of you take one step, he'll take 2 is in there. I was cutting hair on the front porch, and a man from Roseboro came through and saw me cutting hair. Man was from Roseboro by way of New York. Had a strong New York accent. An old light-skinned black man. Cuss you out just the sight of you. And I had to learn that when he cussed at me that he liked me. I had to figure out this man because he was hurting my feelings. But he told me what you got there ain't so-and-so. And come to the back of my truck and he gave me some Master Andis. Gave me a tapering comb. And said, I live over there in Roseboro. Now when you get a chance to come by and talk to me. And I said, I ain't never coming by to see this man again. But I took them clippers and I learned how to cut my brother's hair. And after I learned how to cut my brother's hair, I started cutting my basketball teammates' hair. And then I started cutting everybody's hair in Salemburg and Roseboro. Then I started charging $5 without a license. Then I went on to play basketball at Fayetteville State University. Didn't realize that I was cutting my way through college, getting $5 a haircut. And had a brother that worked at Frito-Lay. And when the chips would go out, be expired by one day, he would come and give me boxes of potato chips. So I became an entrepreneur while I was cutting hair, playing basketball. I had everybody coming by for $3 to $5. And I had big bags bags of Lay's that were 1 day old, and I was selling them for $1 a bag, and I was playing basketball and working work study. But I did all of this after working in the tobacco fields from the time I was 7 years old up until my junior year in college. What are you telling us this for? Because I'm telling you about a process, and I'm telling you that you can't get to where you're going without going through the process. You got to learn how to fail. You got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to lay on your back and cry and say, this business, I lost $20,000. I jumped in one business, said they were going to pay off my house, said they were going to give me money for college. I dropped 20 G's as a young married man. They took my money and they went to jail, and I didn't get my house paid off, but I didn't take that loss as a sad thing. But I said there's got to be another opportunity, because I'm always looking for opportunities, because the God I serve, he's able to give me an ability to win every time. So if there's anybody in here and you just lost some money, if there's anybody in here and you just went through a failure, if there's anybody in here and you're sick in your body, if there's anybody in here, you're hurt in your spirit, you ought to find a neighbor and say, neighbor, you're in a good place. You're in a good place. Don't throw in the towel. Don't give up. Don't quit, because you're in a good place. And this is what Solomon is saying. Solomon is saying that I've lived a long time, and this life is full of trouble, but I've learned how to face my obstacles, and I've learned how to face my challenges. I've learned how to take a sad situation and spin it positively. You know how they spin the news on CNN and Fox News? They call them spin doctors. Well, you better learn how to spin your situation. You better learn how, while you're sick in your body, to say, Lord, I'm going to start going to the gym and I'm going to get in shape. You got to look at your broke pockets when you pull out lint and say, Lord, give me an idea for another business. When you're down and when you're out, you got to look up and say, Lord, I'm as low as I can go. I need you, Lord. You promised me that you would take care of me. And get up, tighten up your shirt, shave your face, change your mind, think on good things. If there be any virtue, if there be any praise, if there be any honor, think on these things. Get your mind right. Get your head in the game. I played ball, and I know what it's like to be on the sidelines and the coach take me out and say, Rich, get your head in the game. You got to put your head in, you got to put your spirit in the game and watch the Lord bring you out. Tell that neighbor, just keep on fighting. Just keep on fighting. I'm going to get to my text. But the way that you deal with trouble is to be relentless. This is why I preach so hard. Every time I preach hard, you know I'm going through something, because I found out that if I don't get up here and get sad with a sad face and give in, I found out that if I keep on preaching and keep on proclaiming that the Lord is my healer, I found out that if I keep on preaching and proclaiming that I am a winner, I found out that if I get up and keep on preaching and proclaim that victory is mine, that I can change my atmosphere. For the Bible says that words have power. Jesus told his disciples, if you ask anything in my name, you shall have what you say. So I think you ought to language. You got to be like the woman whose husband died. There was a widow in Luke 18. That's what I feel like preaching. There was a widow in Luke 18. Her husband had died, and they owed her money. And she went to the judge, and the judge had power to turn her away. But she kept on coming. And she said, Judge, avenge me of mine enemy. Y'all pray for me now, because the devil's attacking me right now. And the devil don't want you to hear this message. But the woman kept on coming. She went to the judge and she said, avenge me of mine enemy. And the judge says, I don't fear God and I don't fear man, but because this woman is so persistent, I will give her what she wants. You ought to tell the devil, devil, you've had a foothold on me long enough, but I'm declaring that there's a new day. I'm decreeing that I'm going to be persistent. I made up in my mind that I'm going to trust the Lord to bring me out. Shout yeah, shout yeah, shout yeah. The writer of Ecclesiastes, in verse 1, he says, a good name is better than precious oil, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. What is he saying here? He's saying that a good name is better than high dollar perfume. A good name is the only thing that really matters in this life. And he says that the day of death is better than the day of birth. That means if you can get through this life and keep a good name, at your death, they'll say good things about you. I want to live, as the old folk used to say, I want to live so the Lord can use me anywhere and anytime. I want to live so the Lord can use me. I want to have a good name. I know people say bad things about me, but I want to have a good name. So the psalm writer, the writer of Ecclesiastes, said the day of death, if you can keep your good name, is better than when you're born, and it's better than sweet smelling perfume. Let's walk through this scripture now. He says it's better to go to the house of mourning. He had a bunch of sadness in his life, but he says, since I got to go to the hospital, since I got to go to the rest home, since I got to do funerals, let me find the good in them. Mother Gainey died, but she's in heaven. Brother Predlow's sick, but the Lord is going to heal him. I've gone through this and that, but the Lord is going to bring me out. He says, I go to the house of mourning, but when I go, I don't go sad, but I flip that thing and I go happy. When I go, I feel better going to the house of mourning than the house of feasting. And the living will lay it to heart. That is, the person that lives understands one day that we all are going to die. So you do what you got to do to live this life for Jesus, pleasing him every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every month, every year, every decade. Live your life to please the Lord, because when it's all said and done, I want to hear to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. He says, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. What is he saying here? He's saying tough times don't last, but tough people do last. For the third time, find a neighbor and encourage them and say, neighbor, outlast that trial, outlast that sickness, outlast that situation. The writer said, sorrow is better than laughter, because through my tough time, I've learned how to lean and depend on Jesus. You can't learn how to lean and depend on Jesus without a little rain. I thank God for the rain. I thank God for the storms that he brought me through. You heard Andre Crouch said, I thank him for the sunshine. I thank him for the good times. I thank him for the bad times. I thank him for the storms that he brought me through. Because through it all, I've learned how to depend on Jesus. Through it all, I've learned how to lean and depend on his word. David said, this trouble was good for me, for it drove me back to the house of God. What I went through didn't kill me, but it made me better. TV audience, YouTube audience, haters and friends, I'm still here preaching the word with power and authority. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. You might didn't see me. You might have thought I fell off. But I thought I told you that we don't stop. I thought I told you that we don't stop. All I do is win. And you ought to make up in your mind that I'm going to win over this situation. Let me get back to my text. So we see the writer giving examples. He says, sadness is better than laughter. A rebuke is better than folly of a friend. And then he says something in verse 7. He says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyed the heart. What does he mean by this? Stop giving all your children everything that they want. Make them go to work, and they will appreciate everything in the Wilson household is working except for Joy and the other baby girl. Everything in the Wilson household is working, but what they're learning is there ain't nothing like having your own. That's better than a gift, because a gift is not appreciated. But oppression, tough times, I preach like I preach. I work like I work, because I was raised up in the tobacco fields. I slopped holes. I loaded cows. I threw hay. I've been through the storm and the rain, but the Lord brought me out, and the bad times made me better. Don't get bitter at the bad times, but let them make you better. Somebody say amen. I'm getting ready to close now. But he says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyed the heart. Then he's in my text. Tell another neighbor to stay the course. Find another neighbor understand my story about how I messed up my brother's hair. But I went through the process, became the best barber in Cumberland County, had the biggest clientele, opened up my first shop, opened up my second shop, opened up my third shop, went from bad to great, went from tearing up heads to being a master barber, went from a cutter in a living room to a barber owning barbershops. Despise not the days of small beginnings. Zechariah says, despise not the days of small beginnings, cause better is the end of a thing than the beginning. And the patient, you gotta learn some patience. You gotta learn some patience. Young folk, you gotta learn some patience. It ain't gonna happen to you overnight. Have you ever seen a drug dealer retire? Have you ever seen a drug dealer retire? I'm not talking about dying, and I'm not talking about jail, but when they get that fast money, they can't handle the process of working a job, of starting a business like everybody else. A quick fix won't last, but look at your failures as learning stops. Every time I fail, I look at that place and say, Lord, what did you try to teach me? Because I don't try to bring that place into this place, because I'm moving forward. And Paul says, I'm forgetting those things behind me, and I'm pressing, I'm reaching, I'm straining to move forward. And I gotta forget all of my past hurts. I gotta forget all of my past pains, because I hear him saying in Romans 8 and 28, and we know that all things work together for the good. We know that the bad and the good and the sad and the happy and the ups and the downs, that we know the stroke, the heart disease, we know that all things work together for good to them that love God. Do you love God? Do you love God? Well, keep on going through, because all things work together for good to them that love God, to them that are called according to his purpose. You're gonna win. You're gonna win. You're gonna win. Don't care what you're going through. You're gonna win. Don't matter where you're at right now in life. But if you keep on pressing, you're gonna win. If you keep on trusting God, you're gonna win. If you trust the Lord and lean not to your own understanding, you're gonna win. I have been disrespected by all kind of folk when it came to church business, and I felt rejected. I felt belittled. I felt like I was nothing, but I didn't let them know it. And I said, Lord, I'm doing everything that I know to do. And the other day, when we settled that business, I walked in there with my black suit on, had my wife on my arm, had the board members present, and I walked in, and what took 2 years to get done, what took a whole lot of money to get done, was done in 15 minutes. I was addressed as pastor, I was addressed as sir, I was respected, and I walked out with the power. You just keep right on waiting. just keep on serving